Another commentary from Leprecan.
Oh yeah.
Last one was from Uncreative.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a pretty good game.
Have a 1v1 here. Trying to go for a Dark Templar rush. Trying out some macro here. Now, what you really want to do for a Dark Templar rush is always make sure you have gas, because you really don't need that many Dark Templar. All you need is about 4, and pray to God that he does not have detectors. Also, you want to do, since I am playing a Zerg here, and as you can see, he's sitting his, what is that? He's sitting an Overlord out for some vision. Not an Overlord.
Yeah, not an Overlord.
Overlord.
Definitely not. This is pretty bad, I will admit, because I just started doing this today, but I come out on top on this game, fortunately enough.
Yeah, with Dark Templar, if you don't rush it successfully within the first 7 minutes, it gets fairly difficult. And you can see the red Zerg has this early spawning pool, so you can already tell he's maybe going for a Zergling rush. He's sending his drone scout over there. And
I sent my scout a little late, too. I forgot to. So yeah. I just got my gateway up, so there's really nothing I can do against this drone right here, other than just let it scout me.
Yeah, hopefully, it didn't, you know, he made that a simulator so he didn't get to have that extractor there for the vision. It's kind of hard to kill those extractors with just your workers.
I think he's going for this other geyser here, so I try to kill him, and luckily he doesn't. So that does put me a little bit behind in economy, though.
Yeah, it does. He does put his probe out there for the pylon.
Okay, here's the proxy pylon. Now, luckily, I snuck into his base, and he didn't. Well, actually, he did have an Overlord there, but I guess he just didn't see. So I put my pylon right there in the corner of his base where he won't see it, and then.
And I noticed he has a spawning pool with 3 little those larvae coming out.
Now, the reason I scout after I put the pylon up is so he thinks I just go up there for a second and then just scout him.
Yeah, so if he does check for a pylon, it wouldn't be over there.
Yeah.
It would be down there somewhere else.
And you should scout them after you put the pylon here, because if you don't, they'll know that a probe went up there, and if it doesn't come out, then they'll know that you're doing something up there, so.
At which point, you know, he still has his Overlords over there close to his Leprechaun's base. And what do you have being built right now? You have a...
I have a Forge and a Cybernite's core.
Forges are very important for any kind of, like... I consider Dark Templar to be an in-game unit. So if you're just going for, you know, teching up, you always need Forges for cannons, and we did notice he had a spawning pool, so we get a few Zealots out. And Zealots, 2 Zealots can take on 6 or 8 Zergling for the most part.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really hard about a build like this. If you're going for, like, really, really high-end tier units, you usually you usually lack defense for base for, like, small Zergling rushes or something, so it's important to get a Forge so you can build cannons to defend your base. So.
And, you know, even though he didn't do this, you should always, as the game progresses, and if you don't get attacked, build more cannons if you have the money. Now for this one, you know, like he said, he's just... I've only done this twice on my account, and he's just now doing this. But you should probably just build up the economy more so you can have more cannons, because for the Dark Templar, they cost a lot of gas, for one, and it's really hard just sending all those Templar out, but knowing you have defenses at your base as well.
Yeah, and it's really important here, and I forgot to do it. You definitely need 2 Vespene geysers, or simulators for this, because it's mineral and gas heavy, actually, because you basically have to go all the way down the tech tree, and then after you do that, you have to make at least 4 Dark Templar. So it's a very expensive build. So yeah, I think I build it here in a second, actually. Yeah, here I go.
Yeah, and if you're playing against Zergling, and you know, even though this didn't happen, if the Dark Templar rush doesn't work at first, I would always get a Stargate and get some Phoenix. Phoenix are kind of cheap. They're like 150 mineral, 100 gas. That's because the only moving detectors Zerg have are those slow-moving Overlords or Overseers.
I just realized how close that Overlord got to spotting my pylon.
Yeah, wow, he would have lost.
Yes, I would have. That's what he can see, and that's... Wow, that was close. That almost...
Yeah, that would have ruined the game.
That would have ruined the game.
I think he has some Zergling coming up shortly.
Yeah, he gets some Zerglings, and he gets Roaches, actually.
Yeah, and you know, if you play Zerg, Roaches are like the last thing you want to get. Because
Usually.
everything owns the roaches. I mean, roaches are actually really good. They have a high armor and deal 16 damage. But if you're Protoss and they get roaches and you like survive the first attack, if you have warp gates for gateways, you know, that make you train units fast, you can get stalkers, and stalkers just rape the crap out of roaches.
Well, yeah, and that's why scouting's so important, because really there's pretty much a counter for every single unit. So you need to build units according to what you scout on the enemy's base. And he didn't really get any good scouting in, as you can tell. Either that, or he doesn't know the counters
Well,
for anything.
the thing is, when you scout someone and you see that, you don't know what they're getting. He saw a cybernetics core. He may have thought you were going stalkers, and he got roaches. And he wouldn't see the Dark Shrine until very, very late in the game. So that's why, if you are a Zergling, you should always rush with Zergling. Even if Zealots do own them, you just try to run past the Zealots and go for the probes.